Hello once again, this is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've been going through the online PDF textbook AppInventor2 Create Your Own Android Apps by Wolber, Abelson, Spertus, and Looney. I'm deviating a little bit here, and I wanted to show you, I've gone out to https://www.edx.org or just put in edx.org in your browser. All right, so edx, in fact, I'll move. So cnn.com. And I'm going to just put in edx.org. edx.org. And you can see I'm there. edX is a place that offers all sorts of online courses. You can pay $50, and when you finish the course, you can get a certificate, or you can audit the course for free. They're all done through colleges and universities and other things. So the reason I'm showing you this is I just started yesterday, and if I put in here App Inventor, all right, a class is literally just started yesterday for App Inventor. When I say yesterday, it was the 7th of February in the year 2017. All right, Mobile Computing with App Inventor CS Principles. Learn to design to use the open web development tool AppInventor to program on Android devices. You will learn how to design and build mobile apps, etc. There's only one lesson, I believe, that's out there right now. So it's $49 if you want the certificate. All right, this is Ralph Morelli who is teaching it. And let's see. I'm not going to read you any of this stuff, but I believe there's like 6 lessons. All right, and it says a year ago, but it's been upgraded. It's been upgraded for AppInventor2, and when they offered it in 2015, it was for AppInventor, the original AppInventor. Again, it's free, but if you can pay $49, I thought it was $39. I guess it's $49 for a certificate. The institution is Trinity X, which I believe is out of Connecticut. Yeah, Hartford, Connecticut. I don't know if this is where Mr. Morelli is from or not, okay? But I've gone through part of the first lesson yesterday. It's an introductory course. What's kind of neat about it is what they do first is they try to get you to learn to meander your way or move your way around the screen. And the way they do it is they use kind of a Flappy Birds type of thing where you've got a bird who's trying to eat or catch a pig. And you've got to do move forward, move left, move right, etc. All right, just something that you might want to consider. All right, that said, this is where we left off last time. So the app can now broadcast messages, but the user interface needs some work. First, the list of phone numbers is displayed in an inelegant way. All right. Specifically, when you place a list variable into a label, it displays the list with spaces between the items. So it might look something like this, which isn't very nice looking. So to improve this, we will create a procedure named Display Broadcast List by using the blocks that are shown here. Basically, big thing is we're going to use a \n so that we can put in a line break after each phone number. So we're going to write this next, the Display Broadcast List procedure. So for now at least, I'm going to collapse this, come over to my procedures and create a new one. And again, I believe this was called oops, I don't want to do that one. It's not returning anything, and maybe I didn't have a return in there, I don't know. All right, so this is broadcast list. All right, and what we want to do is we want to set the broadcast list label text to the empty string. Then we want to put a for each block in there where we're going to blast that out. And to each number, we're going to set up each number with a \n in between them. So we want a for each with the item and list. so that's item in global broadcast list. We want to set the broadcast label text. And we want to set it to these three things. So we want to do a join. We've already got part of it done. So we want to join. But we're going to have three components, not two. So there we go. All right, so then this join, we're going to have another broadcast list label.text. And we want to join to that a \n. Whoops. All right. We want to join to that a get item. Again, this is just being done, as the author says, to beautify the way that our phone number appears. All right, of course, this display list procedure will not do anything unless it's called from someplace. So we want to place a call right below the call to add item to list. So we want to call it right there. So we want to call right after the add items, we want to call display broadcast list. Whoops, I guess that's here. There it is. So right after this, we want to call broadcast list right there, I believe. All right. And as it says, we will be spending more time going over this in chapters 20 and 21. All right, logging the broadcast texts. I'm on the bottom of the page here. When a text is received and broadcast to the other phones, the app should log that occurrence so that the administrator can monitor it for activity. In other words, you would want to make sure that you're not having somebody who's joined the list just so they can be spamming people, as an example. In the component designer, you added the label log label to the user interface for this purpose. Now we'll code some blocks that change log label each time a new text arrives. We'll need to build a text that says something like message from and then give the number was broadcast. Notice this is not fixed data, it's dynamic data, because it's going to have the message from is going to be fixed, but the phone number will constantly be changing. So as it says, it's the value of the argument number that comes from the message received event. So to build the text, we'll concatenate the first part, message from, with a get number block, and finally with the last part of the message, the text or the term broadcast. So as mentioned here, as you've done in previous chapters, we'll use join to concatenate these, specifically what you see right here. After broadcasting the received messages to all numbers, the app now modifies the log label to add a report of the just broadcast text as shown in the figure. So we're going to add the stuff that's down here. Okay, so we want to add that to our do before the else. So right there. So we want to set the log label text right before our else. That's what we have. We're going to do a join. It'll have 4 components. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. All right. So message from and then get number. Remember, the message from is static text. Message from get number, and then we want to add to that broadcast with a \n, so we're going to add more static text. Whoops. And then the log label.text. Again, this is being done for the administrator. Each time the message is broadcast, it's added to the log label. So, as mentioned here on this next page, the join block creates entries in the form as shown right there. So each time a text is broadcast, the log entry is prepended, added to the front of the log label.text so that the most recent entries appear on top. The way you organize the join block determines the ordering of the entries. In this case, the message is added on the top of the 3 sockets. The \n is again a new line, so it should say something like this. All right. Again, more on this in Chapter 20. Now, in the last part of the chapter here, what they're going to go over is storing the broadcast list in a database. And as it says, your app sort of works, but if you've completed some of the earlier tutorials, you probably guessed there's a problem. If the administrator closes the app and relaunches it, all of the data was lost and everyone has to register again. So to fix this, we'll use the TinyDB component to store and retrieve the broadcast list to and from the database. We'll use a mechanism similar to what we went over in Chapter 10. That is, we'll store the list to the database each time a new item is added, and when the app launches, we'll load the list from the database into a variable. So we'll start, as it says, by coding the block that is shown or starting to be discussed on the bottom of the page here. With the TinyDB component, a tag is used to identify the data and distinguish it from other data in the database, sort of again like a field name. In this case, we're going to use the tag broadcast list. You add the blocks in the testing1.messageReceived event under the add items to list block. All right. So, as they mentioned right here, when a join FMDT text comes in and the new phone number has been added to the list, tinydb1.storeValue, all right, is called to store the broadcast list to the database. The tag, which we are calling broadcast list, is used so that you can later retrieve the data. So it says figure 9 illustrates that the value that is called by store value is the variable broadcast list. So I believe this is what we're adding right here. So right under the add items to list, we want to do a call tinydb store value. So right under this. So it's right before the call to display broadcast list. Why is theirs display and mine is not? That should fix that. And it should also, hopefully it's going to fix everything. All right. So the tag is broadcast list, and the value to store is global broadcast list. Is loading the broadcast list from a database. We're just about through with the chapter. Add the blocks listed in table 11.8 for loading the list back in each time the app launches. So we want to do our screen1.initialized. So we've done here a store value. I'm going to collapse this block for now. Don't know where it went. There it is. And let's also collapse this block and move this way up. Up. All right. So we want to screen1.initialize. Not a back pressed. Sorry. And we want to set the global broadcast list. And we want to set it to a call to tinydb1.get value. The tag is broadcast list, and the value, if not there, we want to create a brand new list. Okay, they didn't want to get there. They just wanted the words broadcast list. And the value, if not there, we want to create an empty list. So what I have there, I don't want. All right. So when the app is initialized, if we have a list of phone numbers already, bring it in and display it on the screen. Otherwise, create a brand new empty list because we're just about to start doing that. So as it says here, you call tinydb.getValue by using the same tag you used to store the list. In the general case, the previously stored list of phone numbers will be returned, but it provides the value of tag not there to specify what should happen if there's not yet data in the list, and that's what will happen the first time the app is run. So the complete code is shown right here, and it's on the second last page, I guess. And I've got the same code in mind. The problem is it's getting very big, so I'm going to put that here. All right, we'll put that here for now. And I'm going to do some maneuvering around on the screen here. You can see as these get more complex, it's harder to fill up a screen, or to have room on the screen, I should say. Well, that's everything. And I believe that what I have on the screen is the same thing. Now I'm looking here and I'm getting an error here, the message from get number. That's an error in the Oh, because I just have the if blocks. Somehow I lost whatever that was connected to. Probably here in the texting one message received. Yep. So that's everything. All right. The author mentions on the bottom of the end of the chapter, you might want to explore some of the following variations: modifying it so that the list is broadcast to everyone except the sender, allow client phones to remove themselves, give the administrator the ability to add and remove numbers, let the administrator specify that a number should not be allowed in the list, customize it so that anyone can join, but only the administrator can broadcast messages, and customize it so that anyone can join to receive messages, but only a fixed list. I mean, there's other things that you could do as well. For example, you could set up groups so that when messages came in, they only went out to people in a certain group, for example. All right, so we finished yet another chapter, and some of the stuff that we've learned: apps can react to events that are not initialized by the app user, such as text being received. This means that you can build apps in which your users are on a different phone. We went into a nested if, and we worked within the nested if a for each block for more complex behavior. Again, more in chapters 18 and 20. We used the join block, as we have several times, to build a text object out of multiple parts. And we used the TinyDB. Notice we used TinyDB and not TinyWebDB, because it's just the administrator who had to need to use this. So keeping it on one phone is more secure. And again, as mentioned, a general scheme is to call store value to update the database whenever the data changes, and call get value to receive the database data when the app first starts. When we get into the next chapter, again, it's on robot remote. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do on that, not having access to a robot. That's it for right now, and I'll see you again soon.